5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. So this is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you for being such a gracious podcast host. Now, along with all those recaps, we hope there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasts. So far, it's all right.
So far, we're on another several-week streak. We're doing all right.
My name's Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally, and the other voice you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I'm Julia. I drink all the craft beer in Cincinnati. I am on social media more than I should be, finding beer events to tell you all about.
So many beer events.
So many, especially on the 9th coming up, since we're going to be, this weekend, and then the weekend of the 9th. It is ridiculous. Tons of Oktoberfest stuff, which I think is amazing.
Good stuff.
I love how many Oktoberfest celebrations there are this year. But at the same time, they're all on the same, 3 days. So you kind of have to pick and choose where you want to go until farther into September. But that's all right.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, Julia. And thank you all for listening to our calendar 0.5 episodes.
And if you're not, you should.
You should.
Because sometimes they're funny.
That's right.
Sometimes we mess up, and I leave them in, and it is glorious.
Yes. And so, no craft beer podcast would be a good craft beer podcast if we weren't drinking beer. However, before we get to what we are drinking, we are going to let you know that all the thoughts and opinions on this show are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as our full-time jobs or Higher Gravity.
I may be speaking for a certain grandmaster chess player that is here tonight. That's who all my opinions are going to be by, because he kicked my butt, and I'm a little salty about it. So.
How old is he? 7?
7 or 8. I should know this, but I don't.
Sorry.
Or at least not offhand. All right, we have 4 shows to talk about today. 2 of those recaps are going to be a little bit shorter, and we'll explain why when we get to them. But let's make sure that we're on the same page and we listen to or watch the same things.
Okay.
We have episode 113 of the Craft Parenting Podcast, Beer Flavored Beer, now with more beer.
I watched it.
Nice. Okay. I have to admit I did not watch it, but I listened to it, and I do want to go back and kind of watch the video to see the interactions there. I just haven't had a chance to get to it yet. That's all right. We have an episode of What You Into, and it was the episode that you and I were on. So this is going to be a little podcastception where we're going to be talking about a podcast that's talking to us about talking about podcasts.
Correct.
Very deep, very, very wormhole and amazing. We have the Brew Guys Booze News that came out on Monday the 21st.
Yes.
All right. And we have probably the shortest weekly pint ever. That was just yesterday from also September. Good God. August 21st.
Yes.
All right, cool. Where do you want to start off?
Let's start with...
Do you want to get the awkward one out of the way where we're talking about ourselves?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's get that out of the way.
All right, so episode 131 of What You Into, which is hosted by Anthony Tank Mansfield. This is a podcast about podcasts with Julia and Marco from Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
Thank you, Tank, for having us. It was a really great time.
I had such a good time, even though he did try to kill you when we got there. With
the lactose.
Yeah. But it's okay. I don't think it was intentional.
It wasn't.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
But
I didn't take it that way.
No. But still, there was another potential attempt on your life when we got there. But no, it was an incredibly fun time. And rather than us telling you everything that we already talked about in the podcast, I figured we would just kind of touch on some of the little rabbit holes, the rants and rabbit holes that we went down while we were doing this recording with Tank. And kind of like we stated in this episode with him, neither of us really like talking about ourselves.
Right.
I think he put it best when he said, if someone asks me a question about what I do or what I'm doing, I can just answer the question. But neither of us are like, oh, look at me and all this cool stuff that I'm doing. It's like, no, that's I don't know. It just feels weird.
Yeah,
so this is an awkward recap for us.
But what I do hope is that you go and listen to what you into.
And not even our episode, but like there are so many amazing.
Well, I want you to
episodes.
listen to ours for sure.
Well,
but it's really it's a hobby and enthusiast themed podcast.
Yeah, hobby.
And so
questions.
you may find things that are interesting about things, hobbies and interests that you had no idea about, and you might find things that are interesting about the hobbies and interests that you are interested in.
Right.
And so
right.
you can hear stories and find out how you identify with some of those things, or how you may differ in some of the pursuits of some of these hobbies and interests as well.
And to kind of build on that, even if there's not, like if you're looking through the show titles and the descriptions, trying to find an episode on a hobby, a collection, something that you're interested in, don't even just go by that. There are plenty of times where I'll look at something and go, I'm not sure if I'm really interested, or I have like any type of curiosity about topic X, but the conversations that he has with the guests on his show are amazing. They are incredibly thoughtful, in-depth, hilarious. Like I laugh so hard during some of those where they just start kind of going off on random tangents. It's amazing. He puts together an absolutely amazing show.
Great job.
So check out our episode and then a whole bunch of others. I guarantee that you will find something about every one of his episodes that you're like, okay, that was incredibly enjoyable to listen to for one reason or another.
Well, give them a tease, Julia. What is something that they may learn or find out or need to listen to find out?
Yes. So we're not recapping our own story for you guys because, again, we want you to listen to this episode to find out. We also talked about when exactly did toilet paper become bath tissue?
Oh, yeah.
And who's taking a bath with that stuff? Why? It makes no sense.
Let us know at Truth Beer Pod.
We gave our thoughts on Twitter becoming X.
Yes.
And just how stupid of an idea that was. Although if all Musk is trying to do is tank the platform, hell, he is doing a bang-up job. Apparently, we are a fandom because what we say about these other podcasts kind of becomes canon in the podcast world.
Right.
So
interesting.
Sorry, not sorry, but yeah, that was probably my favorite question from Anthony, where it was like I never thought about that before, but I guess technically if we're kind of recreating some of these worlds for these podcasts.
Did someone shave a dog on this table or something?
I think so.
Good God.
I think so.
There's just dog hair everywhere.
It's fine. A couple other things that we talked about. How many times have we caught on fire?
Right.
It's probably more than what you'd think, but also less than what you'd think all at the same time.
At the same time, exactly.
How tortoises are not great pets.
And that is the plural of.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh. You should have just ran with it. I'd be like, awesome. Okay, cool. Tortoise. Tortoises.
Tortoise. Oh.
You're going to look it up?
No.
And then we go down artwork and branding and how I just get really nervous with a lot of it. Anything else that you want to toss out there as far as teasers for why people need to listen to this episode of What You Into? Besides the fact that we're on it, Marco's showing me pictures of blow-up dolls. So I'm guessing that means no, you don't have anything else.
Don't have anything else.
Oh, my God. Again, we can't say how much we appreciated Tank inviting us onto his show. It was absolutely amazing experience.
It was a good time. It was a really fun experience.
Yes, absolutely was. Give him all your support. And who knows, if we don't tank his podcast downloads and ratings, maybe eventually we'll be part of the Dale Earnhardt Club.
Maybe.
You never know.
You never know.
All right, let's move on. This actually might be a shorter episode because we do have plans for after this.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move into another shorter recap that we have. And this one, I swear, is only going to be 5 minutes or less. I promise. I'm timing it now.
Okay.
The Weekly Pint, episode 182, All Chaos, which isn't actually the title of this episode, but it didn't hit my podcatcher yet, so I just made that up on my own.
I wonder what he's going to do with it.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to actually publish it as a podcast. Later. We will. Let's see. The episode was mostly Joe and why chasing bats around your house is a bad idea. But it sounds like it ended well.
If you had bats in your house, hit us up at Truth Beer Pod.
Yeah, we can definitely give you some pro tips on how to handle that kind of situation. There was a tiny, tiny touch on Listerman Brewing no longer having a contracted food vendor
Right.
in their space, if that's the right wording.
Right.
They're going to be opening up their own kitchen in the tap room. So goodbye to the Tickle Pickle. Had a good run. I think they're there through the beginning of September. And then no idea yet on how long it'll take before Listerman's own in-house kitchen is open and ready to serve the masses. But hey, good for them. Hopefully that works out better than their previous tenants. We'll see.
Made local news.
It did make local news. I saw
I saw a headline. And I was like, I wonder what they're talking about. A brewery and a restaurant.
Right,
I click on it and I'm like, well, you're talking about Listerman.
Listerman, yeah. I mean, the headline.
was like,
the headline that I saw was
Like,
something
wah,
like,
wah.
what was it? It was something similar to, OTR restaurant leaves brewery looking for new brick and mortar. Like it was a very doomsday kind of thing, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
it was
no, it's
super clickbaity.
Right. It was like, no, I get. I don't know why, but I'm like, I guess things just didn't work out for one reason or another. So, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very clickbaity
Dun,
article.
dun, dun.
And then the very last note I had on the shortest episode of the Weekly Pint ever, there were a lot of us. Well, not a lot of us. Yeah, there were like 4 or 5 of us playing Choose Your Own Adventure with the gnome's wife
Yes.
and his mom.
Correct.
It was. I hope he's not in too much trouble.
I mean,
Although, when isn't he in trouble with his wife? Let's be honest.
you never know.
Oh my gosh, Marco! Anything else? We did it. We are at like 3.5 minutes. Anything
No.
else on this episode of the Weekly Pint?
If we went on any longer, it'd be as long as the
As
episode.
the episode, agreed. All right, let's move on to the longer recaps that we're going to have.
Moving on.
Do you want to do Brew Skies or Craft Parenting Pod?
Craft Parenting Pod.
Okay. There were no bats in this episode, which I guess is good for them, but kind of disappointing for us. Episode 113, Beer-Flavored Beer, now with more beer. In this episode, we learn that Caroline has super short arms. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also have exclusive merch that they're not actually going to be providing to the general public, so kind of rude of them to even mention it.
It got me thinking. And today,
bad idea.
I know. Today, I went looking through boxes. I recently, as Joe Caroline put it, I recently moved house. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't find the Truth Beer Pod cap.
Did you check Vincent's room? Because didn't he claim
he,
it as his
he
own?
claimed it, and
right.
and it wasn't in any of the boxes that I had hats in.
Okay.
And I went into his room just to drop his clean laundry off. And I don't do Vincent's laundry. Mm-hmm. I dropped his laundry off because it was in the dryer and it was in my way. Mm-hmm. So I threw it in the basket and put it in his room. And I looked around a little bit. I'm like, shit, if it's in here, I ain't going to find it. Shit. That's what I did. I did that right there.
You did.
Could use a hat, though. I could use a hat.
Yeah. Okay. They explained what the episode is about, which is basically, and this is in their own words, it's drinking beer that's normally considered garbage, and some info on each of the breweries that for the beers they were drinking. Not saying that what they were drinking was garbage beer, but the beer-flavored beer that most people typically associate with the macro beers and the beers that just aren't the greatest. So they drank 6 beers, so they were probably having a great time.
Oh, yeah. They split,
once that button
They
popped
split
off.
6 beers. One of them was 16 ounces, so they probably...
But it was a 19.2, so
No.
I'm calling, a little bit of a party foul on them for that.
Sad.
They had from 13 Below Closest Thing, from Taft's Cold Boy. They had Rheingeist Cincy Light, Fretboard Light, Mad Tree's Legendary Lager, and Braxton's Garage Beer. And then, as they were doing this, they told us all about where JesusLand is.
Yeah.
So,
JesusLand.
It was a very accurate description. JesusLand. Let's see. Then they kind of got back onto topic for their show, which is exactly what we do.
Right.
All the time. They talked about why these beers are good to have. And there was only one reason that these beers are good to have.
In case Joe's mom stopped by.
That's exactly what I have down in my notes.
Yep.
You got to have something for the mom-in-law.
Yep.
Or the mom if it's, your mom. No other reason to have them because apparently no one else drinks them except for mothers and mothers-in-law.
Drink a lot of most of those.
Joe thinks Natterdays taste like water.
No, it tastes like sugar.
He may have
and
to
I don't
be
love
dead
him.
to me. Because we all know I enjoy a good Natterday.
You do.
He and his tiny hands they just don't exist to me anymore. Yeah, we're gonna that is a consequence of his actions.
Podsequence.
Of his words.
Joe.
We'll see if they're able to make up for it in another episode.
Yeah.
To be determined. Apparently, their kids, and I know you thought we were going to get through an episode without it, but we're not. I'm sorry. Anytime we're going to cover Craft Parenting Pod, it's going to come up. Apparently, their kids are anti-West Side Brewing.
I like his kids.
What?
I like his kids.
Ooh, we're gonna have to fight after this.
I'm not anti-West Side. I just like that. I just like that they're being, anarchists in the house.
But I do think, and they kind of hinted at this, once the new brewery opens up in Harrison, Ohio, Joe and Caroline pretty much said they are ditching West Side, and they are just solely going to be living out of that brewery instead of West Side Brewing. Yet Caroline still wants to get the West Side Mug Club just to have a low number.
Yeah, it's a low number. Yeah.
So why ruin that joy for the rest of us when you're not even going to be going there anymore? It's kind of selfish.
So would they give somebody else that number mug in a mug club?
I believe it's pretty much just how soon you're there. Like, they just give you numbers in order that you sign up for the club.
So it's already gone. Nobody else is getting that number.
I don't know if it's that or if you're a renewing member, if you get your same number. Is it? Okay.
If you renew.
Okay.
But if you don't renew, then they're not going to give somebody else number 12. They're just going to go on to 303, 304.
Really? You don't think that they would?
No.
But the mugs are already made. They're already numbered. So there's going to be a number 2 mug that just doesn't get used? That's wasteful. So they would have to reuse, because if you get a new mug every year, it's not like you're going to be using, Caroline's old mug.
Yeah, but what happens if Caroline wants a lower number?
I don't know. She's got to fight someone. And I think she would. She will fight someone
to get the lowest number. Level, that Patreon level on Shift Beers.
Yes.
And get Chris to take care of it.
Someone out? I'm telling you. Oh, my God. Let's see. What else do they have? Does he still have that business going? He doesn't talk about it, but he never really did. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say it is a thing.
Okay.
When it comes to technology, trust but verify. Which I think is sound advice just for life in general.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, don't be completely non-trusting of everything from the get-go unless there's an immediate reason not to. So, going kind of like cautiously trusting, but verify what's going on before you really fully commit to anything. Mm-hmm. So I like that one. Apparently, M&Ms are a potty training reward.
Yeah, it's a first for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, I've never had to potty train anyone, and I've never heard, like, my sister talking about how she used candy for it. But you know what? Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Good on them for finding something until the M&Ms all go missing, and then there's just complete anarchy in the bathroom.
That's right.
Yep. Apparently, so this is going to a mention that they had about, like, them calling us out to do chugs, and, like, a chug still being owed. I thought I did that. Even, it doesn't matter because the statute of limitations for a called out chug
I love a statute of limitations.
Well passed.
Love that.
It's just gone. So it's going to have to be another official call out. You can't just randomly say, chug called. It has to be part of an actual chugging, a flow that's happening across the interwebs. I'll just go with that. Joe doesn't know what a mirror selfie is because he has never been a teenage girl.
That was interesting. That was interesting to find out.
Well, I guess my thought is I never did them, but it's like when you just say, a mirror selfie because we didn't have like a front-facing camera, like I would immediately go, oh, okay, I know I've never done it, but I know what you're talking about. That makes sense. Where Joe is just completely just in shock and awe about that whole, late 1990s world that he didn't know that his wife lived in.
He's known her since then, hasn't he?
I believe so, yeah. So he found out something. She exposed a darker part of her life that he had no idea about. And then to wrap up the recap, you can find out which beer-flavored beer had the most flavor.
Yes.
Yeah. They kind of rated them, they ranked them, and a little bit surprising, but definitely worth a listen.
And I totally disagree.
Ooh, okay.
How about that?
I haven't had all of them, so I couldn't.
Well, the only one I haven't had is one of the ones they didn't pick.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know which one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I know why.
Yeah.
We will have to remedy that.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
I just want to let Joe know he's wrong.
Yeah. All I could do is smile and nod and be like, okay, I can see that. I can see that. But again, without having all of them, I cannot say that anybody was right or wrong. I'm saying
Did
completely.
you see the
neutral.
prosthetic hands in that video? He put on prosthetic hands
Oh, my God.
because his hands are so tiny.
Speaking of beer-flavored beer, I don't think we ever actually said what we were drinking.
We didn't.
Because we just kind of
we were
ran
in a
through.
rush.
We were in a rush. What before we get to Brew Sky's Booze News, because that's the last thing that we have, and we're only 21 minutes in. Oh my God!
Let's go.
Dude. Our calendar episode's longer than this.
I know. Let's go.
What's in your glass?
Weihenstephaner.
Me too. Woohoo! Yeah. And I was here like an hour before Marcos, so he had no idea what was in my glass, and I didn't tell him when he walked in.
The Festbier.
Yes, it's really good.
It is good.
I like it a lot. All right, Brew Sky's Booze News from August 21st, 2023. Make Budweiser great again, plus alcoholic Rhesus monkeys. Which, holy crap, with that kind of a title.
Okay.
It doesn't change because they have been changing some of their episode titles.
I did not know that Billy Bush, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were talking about the guy that used to be on the show. Like Entertainment
that?
Tonight or
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I thought they were talking about that guy that got kicked off the air
Yeah.
for interviewing Trump and then not disagreeing with Trump about something or like laughing.
Or whatever.
No, it was
He was laughing at him?
He was laughing at a grab him
Yeah.
thing that he said
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Like, oh, that's funny. And people are like,
And he
that's
was
not
But
funny.
no, he was talking about Billy Bush, a descendant of one of the Adolphus Bush.
Adolphus, I thought it was August.
Is it
Or
August or August? Augustus? Adolphus?
August. We'll just go.
August?
We'll just blend them together,
Okay.
and now that's our truth.
Augustus Bush.
So before they talked about that, they talked a bit about Narragansett's new slogan, "Hi neighbor," whatever.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to see that on a can.
That's the way I am with my neighbors.
Yeah,
Hi, neighbor.
they were using
Whatever.
almost the same glass for today, or at least Mike was using the same glass.
It looked
as
like the
last week.
schooner was bigger.
Well, they called it a fishbowl in this one, so
A
maybe
fishbowl,
maybe
yeah.
it was a fishbowl. Maybe it actually was. And then when they introduced themselves, it was Mike and some guy that's not Mike. The guy that's not Mike had a just a regular kind of like.
It was a
it wasn't
mug.
like a 1 liter stein. It was like the.
It was like a. I have several that are about 19 or 20 ounce mugs. There's like the dimpled mug,
Yeah.
but his looked like a 12
Looked
ounce
like a
mug.
shorter one. Yeah.
Yeah, stubby.
Maybe that's his new nickname. Stubbs.
Stubs.
Done. We have spoken it into existence. Mike broke the bar in his excitement over the potential savings of Budweiser.
That's right.
He is thrilled that Budweiser could be on the up and up, and that is where they kind of got into the whole Billy Bush thing and all that. They gave a ton of numbers on draft and taproom sales and how they're declining, and it has apparently nothing to do with Budweiser.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. What great news.
Then came something that made them angry. There's always something in almost every episode that makes them angry. You can find out if they're good tippers or not in this episode.
Oh
like,
man.
they detail
This is like
things.
this is going to be a thread.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
This is going to be definitely one of those things that keeps coming up.
Oh, 100%, because it's showing up everywhere. It's showing up in places that it should not be showing up. You're being asked to tip on anything and everything. Like eventually, the U.S. Post Office, they're going to deliver your mail, and they're going to stand on your porch until you open the door to take, and they're going to say, "Can I get a sign here saying you received your mail?" And there's going to be a thing on the bottom that says, "Would you like to give a 20% tip?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Whew. There are certain situations
Government jobs.
where
Are you kidding?
yeah. We haven't even gotten our mail. Like yesterday, we didn't get our mail.
Did you get your email?
I got my email,
With the
but that's not
scans?
government. Oh, yeah, I got that saying I was supposed to have X number of pieces of mail. Nothing, and apparently...
But doesn't it always say in the next day or two?
no, then like today's just had the stuff that should be showing up today. It didn't also include yesterday's. So apparently, some people in our neighborhood like talked to the mailman. They're like, "Yeah, we don't have enough people.
COVID.
The overtime and all that.
Yeah, it's COVID.
And just people aren't.
How many
picking
people
up.
do you know are out with COVID right now?
None.
I know 3 people that are down with COVID right now.
I don't know any, or at least if they have it, they haven't said it. But the postal worker said that it's just people picking up routes, and just I guess no one picked up our route yesterday. I'm like,
Unacceptable.
right. I'm like,
Unacceptable.
then how do I get my mail? What if I had something that I needed to get yesterday?
Let's do something that's smarter. Let's make it to where the mail doesn't go to every fucking house.
Yeah.
And just
I
make
would-
it make it.
I would be fine if all mail was held at a post office.
Yeah.
And you just went like once a week to pick it up. And if you didn't go for X amount of time, or if it got more than X pounds or whatever, then they would actually drop something off at your house or something saying you need to come pick up your mail within X number of days. But yeah, I don't know how we got to that from. Because I said you should tip your
Such
mail.
a terrible business model, and yet other companies are thriving doing that same business model.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? You're paying for things on those other sites. You're not paying for the mail. You're
Then what are
paying
my
for
taxes going
You're
for?
paying for postage.
True, yes. Very true. Very true. All right, next topic that they got onto, ocean-aged wines and why.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
Here's why it's brilliant. It's because rich people want to buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's brilliant.
You know why it's
It's
not? You know
stupid.
why it's not brilliant though?
Well, this company didn't realize that there were regulations and guidelines, and not like things that are in the margins. Like no, actually,
Like,
when you start fucking around with alcohol, you better be on it.
On the up and up,
Yeah.
right? You can find out exactly how much money they lost trying. Like actually in the process of trying to do this stuff.
Stupid fucking.
It was a
deal.
ton of money. To kind of tie into the title of the episode a little bit, would you ever drink with a monkey at a bar?
Okay, in the context in which they were laughing about it, I laughed along with them, but it's an absolutely just abhorrent practice.
Agreed.
That the part that led to that part was absolutely abhorrent.
Agreed, yeah,
I could
100%.
not be just more really
Almost disgusted.
disgusted and
Yeah,
enraged
yeah.
about what was going on. The ends just doesn't justify the means here.
No, not at all. And also, I was thinking too, like before they kind of got into like what they were doing and making me go, what the fuck? What is wrong with people? Kind of before they got to that, they're like, oh, would you drink, with a monkey? And I'm like, I have seen too many stories of people that have them as pets and they rip their faces off. So it's like absolutely not from
Right.
that. And then they kind of went into this specific scenario, and I'm going, ugh.
No.
No.
How about no?
How about now? New product alerts, which I hope they make a segment, like new product alerts, because these were absolutely abysmal, and I loved hearing
Yeah,
about them.
they're awful.
There's-
Don't name what the product is.
Okay.
Let's just name what the company is.
Like the major brand
yes,
around
the
it?
major brand.
Okay. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yep.
Okay. Eggo waffles.
Yep.
Which just by that, we know plenty of breweries that have made, waffle
Really?
and maple like inspired or flavored
Huh.
beer. I know.
Why not that?
But this is 100% not that. And then Dunkin', which that one I could be down with.
America runs on.
Absolutely. That's what I run on sometimes.
That's what they say.
They want to know, this is where they brought in the schooner, the fishbowl. So I don't know if it's officially a fishbowl, so he has a fishbowl and a schooner, and this was the fishbowl, or if maybe last week Gnome was incredibly, incredibly wrong, and it was always a fishbowl and never a schooner. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
I was hoping you'd do that. Tell them where you've seen the most outlandish drinking vessels.
Yep.
Because they want to buy them and drink out of them on their show.
I love it.
First thing that popped into my head, the tiki containers at the Nine Giant Fermentorium. Those are amazing, but holy cow, unless you have a straw, how do you drink out of those things?
Woodburn had some trash cans.
I missed out on that.
Yeah, those were
well, I
fun.
guess people were stealing them, and so they couldn't really do that, but man.
Yeah, people stole them all.
I know. I'm like, seriously, just ask, and I'm sure, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Different rant for a different day. Question of the week was pretty fun. What are your go-to 5 desert island beers? However, they didn't. Sonder was always so great about
Yeah,
doing
they
this
didn't
in
give any
Sonder. There are no
qualifiers.
qualifiers.
None.
Like, is there power? I know it's a deserted island.
Brett had an
but there-
OLI,
Yeah.
but no
That's true.
qualifiers.
Right. So you got to have qualifiers whenever you have a list. Otherwise, your list is always going to be changing because it could be Tuesday the next time you do your list.
Yeah.
And it could be a tropical desert island, or it could be an Arctic island. Those are going to completely change
Completely
what beers
change
you
what
want.
beers,
Yeah.
yeah.
So next time you guys do lists, because we know you're big listeners of our show, qualifiers. At least 3 for every top X number.
Yeah,
list
that's a
that you
minimum
have.
qualifiers.
Yes. Brett just casually mentioned that he's thinking of selling the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, hold on now.
Hey,
Hold on
hey.
now. The world is not ready for this.
No.
So we implore you to reconsider.
Yeah.
Eventually, sure.
Oh, of
but
course.
not now. Not now.
Exit strategy, absolutely.
Yes.
But
And then
you're not ready for that exit yet.
And then the non-alcoholic story of the week: credit card debt,
Yeah,
and how it's a good thing.
I'm in favor of it.
Yeah. I mean, without credit card debt, how am I going to get all of my glassware?
Yeah, or
Or anything in life.
Anything.
Well, no, not anything, but oh my God.
I might use one later. Who knows?
You know what? I might use one too. I'm probably not, but I could.
Yeah, there you go.
Nothing's stopping me.
No.
And without credit card debt, how am I going to ensure that the CEOs of these big banking companies continue to get their
Thank you,
billion
Julia.
dollar
I wanted
bonuses?
somebody to mention that we need to make sure that these people
If we don't do
are
that,
taken care of.
then they're going to ask us to tip them when we pay our bills online.
Well, what they're going to ask us to do is bail them out
Well, that too.
as a society, and then what we're going to do is end up bailing them out.
Yeah,
And so we're basically paying for it twice.
you are not wrong, sir. That's it.
Let's go.
I'm okay.
We got somewhere we got to be.
We got somewhere we got to be. We have some drinks we've got to have.
Talk to you later.
Was there anything else that you wanted to say, Marco, before I wrap this up?
No.
All right. If you like what we did tonight, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell your favorite Rhesus monkey. I don't know.
Tell you why.
Just
Tell your kids.
tell everybody up in here. If you want to tell us that you liked us, we are at Truth Beer Pod on all the social media platforms. Send us an email, truthbeerpod@gmail.com, or you can just go to truthbeerpod.com and links to everything, our episodes on YouTube, links to how to become a Patreon subscriber, all of that is on our website, truthbeerpod.com. Other than that, Marco,
Julia.
what are you going to be doing next Tuesday?
This probably here, but we'll see.
Sounds great.
Cheers.
I'll be wherever you are. Cheers.